Welcome to this program and a session, a workshop session, a short session in what we say 1 hour is generally very, very less time to even find out what all things are good about us. So the session is, what's right about you? Um, First of all, let me just give a little brief about who I am and where do I come from. My name is Kiran Mazumdar. I'm the Global Head of Organization Development, Learning, and Performance Management for Biocon. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of Biocon. How many of you have heard of Biocon? Raise your hands. Okay, everybody's heard of, kind of everybody's heard of Biocon. How many have heard of Kiran Mazumdar? Now that's a far better name to kind of start with. So Kiran started Biocon way back 40 years ago. And I must talk a little about her journey. The reason being that's one lady who inspires not just other ladies, but all of us, not just in India, but across the world, and how determination and knowing what you're good at can sustain you for such a long time and make a global mark for not just for yourself, not just for India, but for the industry in Asia. Biocon today is the #1 biotechnology organization in Asia with some of the remarkable and incredible developments that have happened, which has helped biotechnology Asian companies to foray into developed markets of Europe and America, which for a very long time has been a difficult area to enter for pharmaceutical industry, especially Asia. I'm not just talking about India. Way back in 1978, when Kiran started, Kiran was by her education, she was a brewmaster. Now, come to think of it, 1970s, and a lady decides to be a brewmaster, of all things. Not a very conventional job choice, but her father was in the brewery, and therefore it was like an easy thing. He was working for United Brewery then. I'm not sure, United Brewery or something else. But she did her education in Australia as a brewmaster and worked there for some time. And then she got a job in Europe. And while she was working in Europe, she also got an offer from Biocon, which was an Irish company back then, as a trainee manager, whatever, management trainee or a technical graduate trainee. So 1978 is when when she got the job. She worked there for about a year or so, and she really did well. And Biocon wanted to enter Indian market way back in 78. And so Indian market back then had license Raj. You could not just start up an organization whenever you wanted. You had to have government approvals. And therefore, so government approval was such that no foreign direct investment was possible then. Foreign companies couldn't set up offices in India. They had to do it in joint venture where 70% stake was supposed to be with Indian company and 30% could be with a foreign organization. So, so Biocon offered Kiran that why don't you start our Indian wing and start enzyme manufacturing there. So Kiran continued for 1 more year as a trainee to understand the business and got into the business area, understood the things that was required to set up a laboratory and a manufacturing setup, and came back, put some money from herself, and started Biocon India back then. From 78 till about early 90s, that's how it ran. A lot of struggles, but a small organization. Slowly it was growing. And back then, getting the equipment from Germany, getting the equipment from European market to start things were difficult then. But she sustained that struggle. Biocon made its name. Biocon and the Irish parent company was fairly good. And because of which, the Biocon Ireland sold off the Indian wing to another company. And from there, it went to United Liver. With United Liver, it was there for about good 7-8 years. And late 90s, when Hindustan Liver also wanted to sell off the Biocon India wing, and Biocon Ireland had by then shut down its business. So there was no Biocon left as such. It was already part of United Liver. So Kiran decided to buy the stake of the company and started Biocon. So from a trainee manager, to buying the company where you started in. That has been a brilliant journey. And to 2004, when we brought out our first IPO, becoming the first biotech India company to bring out its IPO. Thereafter, till about 2015 or so, when we were acknowledged as the #1 biotechnology company in Asia. And today, even today, we stand somewhere around, I think, 9th as among the top 10 employers in biotech companies in the world. So this has been the journey, and I'll begin with this journey to start with what's now right for you to begin your own journey once again. How many of you are from here are from, have an HR background or have a psychology background? Please raise your hand. Brilliant. So I have one person who, so I will have to look at my way of explaining things to you, not from an HR perspective or psychology perspective, but somebody who wants to understand a little more about it. Now, one of the most common questions that come across when you join interviews, I'm sure earlier also when you had been working, you would ask this question: what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And we find the best of the adjectives that are available in dictionary or in our minds to explain what we are. But I'll ask you, throw the question back to you once again. I'm not asking you what are your strengths. I'm first want to understand what are strengths. What are strengths? So which means it changes by the people who I interact with. So my strength, what best you can deliver. Okay, anybody else? Something that gives you power. That's a brilliant definition. What else? It's your quality, okay? The positive aspects about you, okay? Okay, what else? Okay, your core competencies, which is behavior, skills, and whatever you are, what you excel at. Okay, yes, sir? Okay, knowing your weaknesses is a way to know your strengths. Okay, that's a syllogism that we can form. Yeah, most people define strength as what you are good at. But I'll take leave from what the lady here says what strength should be what strengthens you. Strengths are what you love to do and not what you are good at. You may be good at a lot of things, but you loathe it. You don't like it so much. You don't like when people, whenever they think of that particular thing and they come to you, oh, please, can you get this done? Because you're good at it. I'm very good at Excel. So every Tom, Dick, and person across the table will come to me to get an Excel problem solved. Sorry, I do not want to be an Excel master here. I'm good at something else. It is to find what you are good at, and if you are good at, if you love what you do, and if you know what you love, you will be really happy doing that for the rest of your life, and it won't look like work. And that it may sound very esoteric to you right now, but as you continue working, you would have probably seen that if you really are able, one is developing love for the work that you do. That's a different thing. But if you really get into something that you love, it will be brilliant. And I see this break as an opportunity for a lot of people. A lot of us, we don't get breaks. We're not, so the whole Indian society is such that men are not supposed to take breaks because they are supposed to be whatever, provider, whatever. Things are changing. We hope it's changing for better. But it's a golden opportunity for people. A lot of people today at the corporate take sabbaticals. They go back to the drawing board, look at what they love really, and they start again. Some may want to start up as a chef, some may want to start as an NGO, some may want to go back to farming because they love that and they will excel in it. And this is a wonderful opportunity for a lot of you here who would want to know what are you really good at. And is it really scientifically also proven that you are good at that, or do you really want to be good at it? One is I really love what I do, I really know what I love, The other is to prove that yes, you know what you love. A lot of times we may think we love this, but it may not be really true. And that's where a lot of psychometric tools may help us. So today's workshop, we'll try and find out what do we love really, who do we really are, and therefore, what are the different possibilities that can open up in front of us when we know who we are. So before I go on, I'll ask another question. What's a personality? What do you mean by personality? What do we want to be for ourselves? Okay. If you can give me some attributes that can help us. Collection of traits and attributes. Okay. What else? Okay. Collection of traits and attributes. Anything else? How you behave. How do you react in a situation? Your inherent qualities, characteristics. How do you deal with different people? So it's another way to say how do we deal in different situations and with different people. Different range of people from different class, different quality, different identity. So it's one personality talking to another personality, yes. Okay, but what is personality? And yes, so in our long ago, there are multiple models of trying to understand the human psyche, and it started from not just Freudian way of thinking, but also from Jungian way of thinking. And over a period of time, today psychology as a subject is not just looked at as an arts or humanities subject, it's a science because it can be proven. So the various tools that we have to measure people and identify what they are good at, what they are not so good at, what can be developed, what is a very permanent state of mind of an individual, is proven scientifically, because for any science to go out and become a theory, they need two major attributes. One is reliability of the data, and the second is the validity of the data. Reliability of the data, which means that how many different versions that is still hold good what is meant to be tested in that tool, through that tool. Once again, reliability primarily means what we intend to test, the result throws out the same answer. So if it is true for different variety of people, that means the test or the tool is reliable. Validity for to what confidence I can say that this data is the right answer for it. So reliability is how does it hold against a range of people or subjects, and validity is how confidently we can say the answer that is throws up is right. So a lot of psychometric tools have to go through this rigor to understand whether we can actually apply it on everybody else or not. It is not something that we can just cook up and create and present to people. So psychometry has worked on it, and a model has been created which we call it as Iceberg Model. It's used primarily for culture, but it's also used for personality. I'll quickly take you through what an iceberg model is to be able to help you understand personality a little better. So it's a tip of an iceberg, that's a common adage, and we all know that tip of an iceberg is very little, almost like 20% of the actual mass of that ice is visible to people. The major part of it is underneath and is not visible, and that was the disaster that struck Titanic. And this disaster can happen everywhere else, because if we okay. So this disaster can strike anybody else if they only look at the visible activities of an individual and define what personality could be of that individual. So what is it that is available? Your skills, which are the application of what you do, the application, applying, that is visible to people. The knowledge can be tested and visible. Those are the two things. Some of the behaviors which can be visible, and therefore they are only the tip of it, but that's not your personality. Your whole personality generates from your childhood, your experiences, your exposures, and whole inherent motives that you have. So right from the values that you believe in. Now that throws up another question. What are values? What are values? Okay. Not really. Those are two different things. We say, this is not our family value. It's very common. Thoughts, okay. Okay. Importance, okay. Principles that you believe in, okay. Values, okay, just to cut it short, values are what helps you decide what's right and what's wrong. Your right may not be my right, and it's all right. So that's why this is my family value and that's their family value, and both hold good. So values don't define what's right and what's wrong. Values are simply, they are unsaid ways of deciding to do things. They are not your beliefs. Beliefs are different. Beliefs are what become values through generations and all. They are beliefs. But values are what helps you decide what's good and what's not good. And therefore, in organizations also, if you go to any of the corporate websites, you will find mission, vision, values. Because organizations also have an inherent personality. I have to project that personality to people so that the right set of people come and join me. So when I have values of my organization, that these are the 5 things that we believe in, these are 3 things that we believe in. So whenever any official in the organization is ever in a dilemma, am I doing the right thing? Your values guide you. Is it as per the values of the organization? Go ahead. If it's not as per the values of the organization, stop it. That's what comes to this is our values. So these values are not said anywhere, but they make your personality. Whatever you have seen happening around you, whatever you have seen working around you, form your beliefs. And those are also adding to your value, to your personality. Your motives, the purpose of your life, why do you do things the way you do things, are also what create personality for you. There are certain subconscious behaviors, activities that you do. The way you react to situations, the way you said, the way you react to different people, are the traits in you. You can subdue them for a period of time, but you can't remove them. They are there with you. They will show up some other way. So in organizations, when people join in and they stay for a period of time, they condition their behavior because they know their surroundings. The moment you enter a new area, you don't know how people are going to react. So what are you going to depend on? You're going to depend on what your inherent motives are, your inherent experiences have been, and what your traits, true traits, natural traits are. That's personality. So when an organization wants to choose another set of individuals to come and join them, a lot of them, they actually take you through psychometric tool processing to understand, not to reject. None of these psychometric tools are used in hiring process to reject individuals. They're trying to find whether you'll fit in better or not, whether you will be able to work with the culture of the organization or not. And therefore, it's very important that you understand what your strengths are. And these are visible from childhood. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and so when I see her, and I see her, well, the way we react to people, we like to go and talk to people, we socialize. I have been brought up in a different kind of environment, so I adapt to things. Every 2 years we would change our schools. So I have been used to adapting things. There are skills that I have learned. And I would want my daughter to learn those skills as well, adapting to different situations, different people. But I don't see that. But if I try to force this into her, no, no, go ahead. I'm trying to subdue a characteristic that she throws up, that she has, which is inherent born in her. She needs to find out what her strengths are through her own way, rather than telling her what's good for her. Easier said than done. An anxious parent would also always want, no, 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 I know what's good for you, so please go in this direction. It's easier said than done, but we have to. But if we kind of believe in it right at the beginning, then no, 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 let them grow, let them find their own way. It's a test for both of us that way. So yes, these skills and knowledge will give you short-term success. These skills and knowledge are relevant for a moment, for a situation, for a current. It may not be relevant tomorrow. It may not be relevant in a different environment. It may not be relevant in a different set of people around you. But your characteristics are going to be very, very important. And that's what we must hold on to. So to find our natural, another way to kind of define what my talent is what we say as your skills plus your knowledge multiplied by your strengths is your talent in a definition form. Your skills and knowledge multiplied by your strength will give you talent, which means strength alone will not lead you anywhere. Skills alone will not lead you anywhere, but they have to synergize together. So if you know what your strengths are, you will acquire skills accordingly. If you don't know what your strengths are, you will hold on to it. Let's give you some examples here. Have you heard of Jack Welch? He's supposed to be the big bad person for all HR folks, because he's the one who gave us this bell curve. And we keep struggling with it. We don't know whether to throw it out or to hold on to it, or how to make it relevant. And every year there is a struggle, and at the end of it we decide that no, 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 let the bell curve continue. So he was the one. Now, across the industry he comes across, he's a leader. All of you think he's a leader? He's an industry leader. He was Jack Welch, who was also the CEO of GE way back in the 80s, and he was the one who kind of defined how industry looks at performance management. Earlier, performance management was not so structured, but when Jack Welch came in, he articulated that the top performers must be given the best of the benefits of the organization. The bottommost performers must be weeded out or worked around, and how best we can work on it. And that's what the organization from late 80s to now have been working on, the same thing in some form or the modified ways. Now he's an acknowledged industry guru is what we call. On the other hand, you have a Mark Zuckerberg, who doesn't even wear suits. He's only seen around in hoodies or sweatshirts. But is he a leader? Yeah. He's changed the way we interact. You had an Orkut and something else before that, but Facebook has become a verb, just like Google. They have changed the way and all these Instagrams and Twitters are the offshoots of what Facebook was. It has changed the way we interact. A lot of us, from the times when we used to write letters to our friends and families, we lost touch with them because we forgot where their addresses were, have connected back to our older friends and some long forgotten set of individuals who we had met because of Facebook. He's revolutionized the way people, there are goods and the bads both to it. I'm not saying, but it has changed the way we work. You need to be on a social media today. It's a need. If you've had enough of it, then you can step back. But if you've not had enough of it, or if you've not entered, you've got to be there because your personality, I won't use the word personality, image. Your image is your physical presence and your social media presence put together. Today, interviewers also test what you've put on resume, does it correspond and match to what happens on your Facebook? I can easily go onto your Facebook. I only need to know your name and your face. I can go onto Facebook and find that out. So it has to correspond. And today, you have softwares which do that for you. You have AI softwares where you put the resume, the software searches for the Facebook, and is intelligent enough to tell whether the person's resume personality and Facebook personality, do they match, do they contradict, is there a challenge, and they throw up data. So a whole lot of things are happening. So you need to have, yes. A lot of, not everybody. Yeah, but I'm not really picking up, when organizations identify an individual to come to them, they don't look at only what you can do on table, but they look at how are you as an individual. Yeah. That's the tip of the iceberg. That's the bottom of the iceberg. Your personality, it's your nature, the natural inherent traits and what can. So I'm not saying that's a reject or a screen for it, but I need to know that. Would you be culturally fit into my organization? So let's give you an example. Let's say an organization is very hierarchical in nature. There are organizations, that's a culture. Okay? A lot of Korean organizations are very hierarchical. So Samsungs and the LGs and the Hyundais of the world, they are very, very hierarchical. If the top says something, the bottom have to agree to it, unless you prove them with data that it hasn't worked. So you have to go by that. Why is it so? Because they all stem from how they have come into a corporate. In Korea, it's a mandate that every individual has to spend minimum 2 years in the army. In army, it's not your personality, it's the orders that work. You're not to question why, you're but to do and die. That's army. I can't let everybody start questioning. There's an order, you got to follow that. Only then I can achieve my things, okay? So these people also come with that mindset, and they have that hierarchical structure. I have an individual who's very outspoken, who likes to question, who likes to question the status quo, who likes to ideate, do brainstorming. I might want him here, but will I be able to provide him the right kind of platform for him to flourish and nourish and work well? Probably not. So why should I spoil that individual? Because I see him being very outspoken on Facebook. On resume, he looks like a brilliant fit with his knowledge, the education background, the kind of projects he's handled, brilliant. But on Facebook, I see that he actually is very outspoken. He might shuffle the feathers a little. I will not do justice by bringing him on board, neither do justice to my set of people here inside who are already successful, and why do I need to shake the boat? Similarly, if you have a person who's very protocol oriented, he's a very process oriented person. He follows process to the T all the time. Nothing good or bad about it. You can't be these people, such people. Would he fit into a Google culture where you are supposed to start questioning things that don't exist? That's a culture. Everybody is expected to think. Hello, I'm not a person who thinks. I do. I'm a doer. I'm not a thinker. Give me things that need to be done, and I'll get it done the right way, in the shortest possible time, the best possible way. But don't ask me to think. And everybody should not think. We all have our strengths, is what we say. And that's not my strength to think. So with those dichotomies, it's relevant that I need to know whether I'm getting. Then I will have to obviously cross-check the data. I will not only depend on what Facebook is throwing me. But I need to know that. It's very important. So a lot of, I'm not saying every organization does that, but a lot of organizations do it. I'll give you an example of my organization. Biocon is known for innovation, right? But every department is not expected to innovate. In Biocon, from conceptualization of a product to market is minimum. If I'm taking up a really off-the-shelf product which everybody is making and let me make it too, I would need 4 years to take it to market. If it's something which is relatively difficult, it takes me 8 years to go to market. From the time that I've thought of it, from the time that it goes to the market. And if it's something absolutely new, nobody else has done it in the world, it will take me minimum 15 years to go to the market. What I thought of 15 years ago, and if I continue to work on it, it will take me that. Which means that by the time I reach the market, I would have my processes set. I've spent 15 years to find this process. Please don't innovate. Please don't change it. I'll need another 5 years to get this process approved by everybody. Right? So I don't want people to innovate. Now, if I have very innovative, those who are bubbling with energy, they know they want to question, I will suffocate them. I'll stifle them. But that's what I want. I can't help it. I'm in a very, very restricted environment. Similarly, so in our organization, what you write on email is important. Because for us, email is not a medium of communication, it's a legal document. Every individual who drops in an email must know and is authorized to write that mail. If I bring in a very bubbling, energetic engineering student and he's brilliant, he's seen something and he said, I think that could be done better. And he's put that on mail. Done. My product and batch is shut. Because somebody questioned it, did you investigate enough? Why did you do it? Were you authorized to do that? No, sorry, I just saw it and I said it. But are you the quality person? No, I'm not the quality person, I'm the R&D person. Oh, hello, but you're strict to your R&D, please. I know it sounds very odd, but that's the environment I'm in. Now, to bring a person from somewhere else, I need to explain this to the person, and therefore it's very important that people who join us, they know what our values are, they know what are the way we work, and they come understanding that this is the organization that we are. And same is the case with every other organization as well. So, yes. Read about it. Not just websites, but a lot of people write about the organization. I'm not over talking about reviews because don't depend so much on reviews. A lot of disgruntled people may write things on it. But what are the kind of articles that are coming out? What does the Business Times say about the organization? What does the industry say about this organization? What is the industry that the organization is into right now? And what is the industry that the organization may want to move into later, 5 years down the line? It's all available in our annual report. You need to understand how to read an annual report. A lot of us don't do it. More because we don't understand there's a whole lot of English that goes into English and maths and statistics that goes into annual reports. So we don't read it. But if you read it regularly, even if it doesn't get into your head, you'll get an idea. Everything about the organization. You need to know, I don't know how many of you have done business as a part of your education, but even if you've not done it, just try and read and understand how to read a financial statement of an organization. Everything about the organization can be interpreted from the financial strength, financial data of it, even the culture. Because how much of money is being spent on employees, what are the kind of welfare activities the organization spends on, what are the things that the CSR activities, so a whole lot of things that can be interpreted. I will not get into that part of it. We'll still stick to what we want to talk about. You can, but I'm saying that not just that, do a little bit of cross-checking of the data as well. That will help. So that's a natural talent, and that's where we come to about so let me quickly, because we're short on time, and I want to quickly take you through trying to help you understand what your strengths are. One of the very known tools which organizations use for developmental purpose, not for interviews, but because it's also this workshop is also developmental in nature, I'd want to use that. It's called a Big Five inventory. Big Five or five-factor model inventory. It was done way back in 1800s. Since then it has gone through multiple changes and relevance checking or statistical data analysis around it. And today what we call it as Big Five inventory, or BFI. BFI is an inventory tool which, why is it valid? Because it has been tested not just in West. It has been tested across 78 nationalities, among them Indians as well. And it has thrown data which ranges across in these nationalities. It has been tested on another model is called Hofstede model, which is on cultures of countries. So where you have what is the power culture of this of this country, what's the proximity of this country. So like in our country, we have a very high power organized country, high power distance, whereas US comes into a lower power distance. Why high power distance? Moment we have somebody who's very authoritative by his designation, we don't have to do anything. The rest of the people will automatically be a little subservient to them. That's how we are. From Raja Maharaja times, that is how it has happened. So that's a part of our culture. Nothing wrong with it. That's how it works here. But we need to understand. So it has been tested on those models as well, and it has worked really well. So I'd want you to run that, use that. And Big Five talks about 5 different strengths. 5 different, we use the word trait. Why trait? Trait is something which is relatively permanent in you. I would use the word relatively, they sound like oxymoron, but I'll still use that. Relatively permanent, because nothing is permanent unless there is a life-changing incident in your experience. It's going to remain the way it is. That's your trait. That's how you would want to react. You may react, may not react is a different thing, but that's how you would want to react, and that's it in the core of your mental being. So that's a trait, and it tests individuals' traits, from which individuals can find out what are the different opportunities that are available to them, what are the different strengths that they can have, that they should work on and groom themselves and excel more about it. The other thing I must say a rider here. As much as you know your strengths and weaknesses, it's good to know your weakness, but you can't do anything about your weakness. As psychologists, I'm saying you can't do anything about your weakness. You can only subdue it. If it's your weakness, it will be there. If you're short-tempered, you will be short-tempered. You can control it, but you can't remove it. No amount of yoga or stress management workshop can help in that. So as psychologists, I'm telling you this, it doesn't work. So we all say, work on your strengths so that your weaknesses are not that prominent. So when an organization takes you, the organization takes you because your strengths are so indispensable that I'll be okay with that weakness that you come with. And that's why if you've worked before, wherever you worked, you would have seen certain people are horrendous to work with. But I don't know why the organizations still invest on them. They get promotions and the others don't, because those strengths that they bring on table are so indispensable to the organization that I'm willing to live with that weakness that you carry with you. I'll help you to subdue that, but I know you can't do anything about it. But your strengths are so good that I'll accept you. So work on your strengths is easier to do it. Working on your weakness is like swimming against the tide, and you can never beat the nature. So therefore we say, if you know what your strengths are, and why I talked about Jack Welch and Zuckerberg earlier, was because these were inspirational leaders, and there have been many. These people know exactly what they are good at. And they find people around them who can complement the things that they are not good at, and therefore they can be successful. These were such people who are very aware of what they are good at, what their strengths are. They worked on it. For that matter, even Steve Jobs, or even, I don't know if you have ever heard of the person called Egon He. Never heard of him, Egon He? Good. Look at me, imagine. Have you heard Samson? Who had Samson? Don't know. We know Samson. Because there are such people who know what they are good at, and they don't want themselves to go and talk about it. They let their brands talk. Some people go themselves and talk. But they all know what they are good at, and they work on it, and they excel in it. And we all want to be like them, and therefore we must know what our strengths are. And therefore, I'd request you to, if you could just take and just circulate this. Yes, please. If you can distribute this. There are about 3-4, there are 2 pages here. Do you have any extra that's left? Back-to-back pages, yeah, back-to-back pages. Look up at the first page, which is not a questionnaire. Look at the first page, which is not a questionnaire. So, do I have, just give me do I have 15 more minutes? Okay, so this is, so Big 5 inventory talks about 5 major factors that we assess people on, and in an acronym we call it OCEAN. It's OCEAN, and OCEAN stands for openness to experience, conscientiousness. E stands for extraversion or extrovert characteristics that you say. A stands for agreeableness, how amicable you are, amiable you are, and N stands for neuroticism. And the word may be neuroticism, but don't use it. It's just a word. It doesn't mean literally that you'll be looking at neurotic traits in you. They're primarily about the characteristics that create anxiety and make you go tense that way. So what are the different things? And if there is anxiety and you get tense, that for certain things there are positives. We would want people who would have that. There are certain ones who are into risk management. We want them to have the ability to be suspicious of things. Then that's just a job. CBI, we want people who have these traits. So I'll explain them later, but don't, if you have such a characteristic, don't just jump out of your seats and say, oh, this is not what I am. That's okay, but you just need to know it so that you can work around what you want to. So, we'll talk a little on this about what you are, but the first question I'll ask you, your first page, which has all these characteristics and certain words that are associated with the trait. Now, I want you to read all the words associated with a particular trait, which is, let's say, openness to experience. And there are about 6 different words which explain the trait. Read those words and tick on a particular trait not the 6 words, but the trait. A trait that you think is what defines you. The ocean, the dimensions. That the one that best suits you. Out of the 6, which one do you think explains you? Out of 6. Out of the 6 dimensions that you have? Sorry, 5. 5 dimensions that you have. The big 5 dimensions. Out of these 5, try and figure out which one is what best defines you by reading the 6 words that explain the dimension. You can? You can, yeah. You can have two traits, and both could be equally dominant. Is the highest is your strength, okay? But what I'm going to spend some time on, so you can keep the keys with you and you can total it up. No, not separate answers. I'm just telling you what you need to do. So the key is that, I have it, if I have extraversion, so question number 1, reverse scoring of question number 6, 11, 16, reverse of 21, 26, 31, 36, all these, what is the total score that you get? Okay? Whatever is the total score, and whichever dimension gives you the highest score is your inherent strength. Yeah, that's a test. That's the test. Okay, let me explain that once again. So you have scored 44 questions. After the 44 questions, the way you have presented yourself, you have reversed the scores of some series that I have given. Now, if you want to know your score on extraversion, you have to add up the total of 1, 6, the series that I've given to you. You have to add up the scores, which means if you have given yourself question number 1 rating 4, so 4, and question number 6 was also 4, but it became 2 after reversing. So 4 plus 2 becomes 6, and 11, whatever is the score, and that's the total. Why have we reversed it? You have already reversed it. No, whatever you have entered again. Second time, what the score that you gave yourself, just add up that score. Don't reverse it again. Here are the schemes. Okay. So now what are the various possibilities that can crop up here? You can have 2 traits which come out as prominent. Openness to experience. What does openness to experience talk about? These are the set of people who are open to experience, change, different environments. They usually, because they like to keep changing things around them, they are better suited at a lot of people management activities. They're suited wherever there's a people management activity, they will be very good at it. It's not about people falls under openness. Openness to experience. You are very good at different situations. You're quite adaptable to things. You're very you're open and willing to learn that part of it. You're energetic. Your energy bounces off to people as well. But at the same time, these people may show also certain other characteristic to openness, which is a little bit of aggressive stance. You may show aggressive stance. But both these stance, when it balances out, they are very good with people. The reason aggressive is not bad. sometimes to drive people, you need a bit of aggression. They will have it. They will be able to drive everybody around them. Agreeableness. Those who kind of balance out things. They're very diplomatic. They try to balance out any kind of conflict that arises, any dispute that arises. They're able to rationalize things in front of them. They're very forgiving by nature. Now you have to choose, these are the kind of people, if I have to look at it from an HR parlance, who would I want an agreeableness? No, not HR. HR is not for nice people, actually. So in HR, we say HR is not for nice people. If you want to be a nice person, be a manager. No, you got to be nice, be a manager. The bad person is always HR, because we are the ones who have to throw the person out. You may have decided whatever. क्या rating आया है? 3 rating आया. किसने दिया? HR ने दिया. Manager will not say that I have given you the bad rating. Anything to do with the person, go to HR. So anyway, who cuts your salary? HR. Who gives you salary? HR. So HR cannot be a nice person. So anyway, the ones who we want, they're the ones who need to have a lot of stakeholder management. They will be very good as individual contributors who have a lot of stakeholder management activities, which means client relationships, supply chain, vendor management, to a large extent arbitration. I'm not saying lawyers, but arbitration. Wherever there's a lot of negotiation, event management, because you have to have a lot of create a lot of trust in that activity. There are a whole lot of people dependent and a lot of coordination that needs to be done. It cannot be done without trust. Conscientiousness. They're the ones who follow protocols. They are very process oriented. They're the ones who who love to follow a process and optimize on the processes as well. They like to keep things tidy, structured. So the ones who create policies, the ones who are in manufacturing, or the ones who, even among the marketing, you have certain sales support, which are very process oriented, cost optimization activities. They're the ones that can really help you in that. Individual contributor roles, wherever somebody is expected to raise red flags and show mirror to the organization. People with neurotic characteristics do really well there. Corporate communication does really well there. They have to be consciously anxiety driven. What has been written about Biocon today? They are constantly driven that. So they have to be scanning everywhere. Anybody says a word and they have to become suspicious what's happening, why it's happening, how it's going to happen. Lot of artistic activities, lot of individual blog writing. That social media activity. Social media activity is not for creative set of people. There are set of people who can create suspicion, get people talking. Good or bad, get people talking. Social media is not only marketing. If something is being talked about, you're marketing about it. How? Figure it out. That's how the social media is given. People who are bloggers, people who are content creators, they are driven with that kind of thoughts. Those with extraversion, they're salespeople. They're restless. And when I say salespeople, even in HR you have salespeople. Who are the salespeople of HR? Recruiters. They sell the organization and they buy the talent from outside. You'll be very good at it. Similarly, if I look at an HR profession, the ones who are protocol oriented must get into operations. The ones into openness to experience must move into talent management or learning, the part of it. So find out your strength, work and create the strengths. Next time onwards, somebody asks you, what are your strengths? Please don't say analytical thinking, decision making, presentation. These are skills. These are not your strengths. These are what are good about you, activities that you're good at. They're not your strengths. The strengths are what defines you as a person. They are the traits that help you love the activity that you do, are really good at. With that, thank you very much, ladies.